Hello YouTube, I'm Andrew Does Hair. You can find my work on Instagram at Andrew Does Hair. So recently the whole world was locked down because of the COVID-19 pandemic. California reopened again and salons were allowed to work and open again, and then they were closed a second time very recently. This sucks. But just the other day, apparently the governor said we can work outside. Now this is like super controversial. A lot of people are upset about it. And me making this video is not any political stance. I'm not sharing any opinion here on whether I think Newsom's doing the right thing or not. I'm not sharing an opinion on whether I think cutting hair in a parking lot outside the salon is safe or clean compared to inside the salon. I'm not making any statements about that. But here's the thing. We're in a situation right now where we were dealt some crappy cards, and there's a couple different things you could do when you have crappy cards. You can complain about it and raise hell, and I will defend anybody's right to do that they want. Post anything you want, complain, sign a petition, whatever. But there's also people who, in this kind of category I fall into, I go, okay, I have crappy cards, what can I do with them? So when I heard, okay, we are allowed to cut hair outside, how can I do that? Like, how can I make that work? And so immediately I thought about the back area at my salon, the Young American. They actually have a really cool kind of patio area there. And my first thought was, it'll be way too hot to cut hair. I mean, today it was like, where I live, about 90 degrees. And if you've ever tried to do a fade on somebody who's sweating, it's really hard. You get hair just stuck everywhere. It's gross. And on top of that, if you're doing hair color out in 95-degree weather, your processing isn't going to come up right. You know, it's going to like really mess with your color. So then I thought, okay, well, what if we just shifted the whole day later? Today around 5:30 p.m., it was like 76 degrees out. It felt really, really nice. I think right now it's about 74. It's currently 9:30 p.m. So it comes down in the afternoon and it stays pretty low, but not super low. It's comfortable. And so I thought, okay, well, what if we just shift our entire schedule back? What if we go into work at like 5 p.m. and work till midnight outside in the parking lot? Then, of course, other little issues come up. And so here's the thing: is like I said, crappy cards dealt. Not a lot of options. We can cut hair outside in a parking lot where it's hot. Okay, well, let's go in at night. But now it's dark, and so I thought, okay, what could we do cheaply, quickly, and easily to get nice lighting outside of a salon? And what I ended up doing is I ran down to Harbor Freight, and at Harbor Freight I was able to pick up a pair of these kind of construction worker type lights. These were $15 a piece, and they are very, very bright. Now, when I bought these two lights, I knew already before I even purchased them that they wouldn't be good for cutting hair. So let me give you an example of that real quick. If I were to take this and blast it on that client over there, maybe plug it in first. All right, my neighbor's gonna like kick my ass for this, but this thing is super stinking bright. And so I don't know if you can see back there, this little mannequin head blown out right now. There's a picture of our mannequin head there. I'm gonna turn this off because I don't want my neighbors to yell at me. So we got this super, super bright light from a small little light source here pointed at our client. So there's a whole bunch of things wrong with this. You're watching this going, Andrew, do not tell me to turn my salon parking lot into a construction site with these lights and do haircuts there. So the first problem, and this is me just being like kind of a photo nerd, is when you have a small light source like this, beaming out bright light like that, you get shiny skin, you get harsh shadows. Trying to do a haircut with this kind of direct light like this from a small little floodlight is going to really, really strain your eyes. The highlight to shadow is really, really abrupt, and it makes it very hard to see what you're doing if you're trying to do a haircut. The other thing is, well, let me show you what the client sees while we're working with lights like this. Yeah, that's about what it looks like to get a haircut with a spotlight pointed in your face. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to see for the rest of this video. So as I was saying, so that's the second thing wrong with this situation. The third thing is walking up to a parking lot full of a couple lights like this, it's gonna look like a construction site of sorts. It just doesn't look nice. So I had an idea. For $8, I went and I got a plain white bed sheet to diffuse this light. So I'm actually going to take a few minutes to see if I can figure out how to hang this up here. And let me back up. When I thought about doing this video, I was like, oh, I'll just do it in the backyard. It's dark out there. And in my head, this area that I'm standing in was about 4 times bigger. And now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, this is really tiny. I hope I can even get the point across here. But basically, I'm gonna use a bed sheet here, and I'm gonna hang it up, and then I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna make all of this better for $8. Okay, so I just took a second to duct tape this $8 white sheet up here. And if I come over further this way, you can see my little shop light here, white sheet, and then my head's way back there. By putting the light behind the sheet, what it's going to do is illuminate the whole great big sheet here, which is going to make our light source larger, and that's going to make everything look smoother and softer. It's going to essentially do what a lampshade does, right? When you have a lamp, it's not usually just a bare light bulb because it's like harsh to look at. And so by putting this sheet here, I'm going to be able to like flood this whole area in soft light, and it's going to be much easier to like do a haircut in this kind of light. So let me just turn this on here and then adjust the camera so you can see what's going on. Ooh, glowy. So this is some good, nice, smooth, soft light now. Look at how big our light source is. It's going to make everything look really smooth on our model here. I'll give you an example of that. So if you look at the photo that I took with the bare light bulb, it's like harsh and dark shadows there, and everything just kind of is like too bright and too dark at the same time. But by diffusing the light this way, everything's much softer, much smoother looking. And so I don't know if this is going to read this way in the video, but this is very pretty light, and it's a lot of light. The light itself cost me $15. The sheet cost me $8. Now, I mentioned that just putting these lights all around might look like a construction site and not look nice or whatever, but when you're thinking, well, how is hanging sheets going to look any nicer? Come on, people, get creative. Get creative. Have you been to a wedding outside, especially one of these hipster weddings in the last 10 years where they have mason jars everywhere and these light bulbs everywhere that I've got here? Think about ways that you can take this concept, this big sheet with a light pointed at it concept, and make it cute. Like I can just totally picture all those hairdressers, the ones with the succulent collections and the big hats, you know? No offense, Jamie Dana. but you know, like this can be like Pinterest style cute. So like here I just duct tape a sheet to the edge of my backyard here. But if you were to get like, let's say, keep it simple, go get some PVC pipe, make a big frame with it, stretch the sheet over the frame, put the light behind it, bam, you have like big, soft, smooth, nice light. And it looks a little bit prettier than just duct taping it to the edge of the building like I did here. Or you could, man, if you're crafty and you're good with wood, just make a wooden frame, stretch it over there. Or go to like a, what's that, Hobby Lobby or something, and get the biggest, cheapest frame they have. If they have like a 4-foot by 4-foot plastic frame for 20 bucks, like stretch the sheet around that, hot glue it, and then lean it on something, tape it on something. And so if I had tall enough stands here, what would be really cool is to kind of hang the sheet like overhead, like parallel to the ground overhead, and then have lights above it pointed down. So it's just soft white, like showering down everywhere. But if you have to work at night and you have to light the place for really, really cheap, a couple of these floodlights, 15 bucks a piece at Harbor Freight. A bed sheet has to be white, and it has to, cheap ones are better, like because the light has to be able to go through it. You don't want to get like a blackout curtain or anything like that. But if you do this and you're creative in how you do it, you can absolutely have like a cute little outdoor salon thing, and it can be such a cool vibe for your clients. Imagine like you have an appointment at 10 p.m. It's dark out. You got everything all beautifully soft lit. And I mean, I guess we're not allowed to serve drinks right now, but you could be like, oh, here's like a champagne glass, and put like fairy lights inside a mason jar and have candles at every station and just make it cute, I guess. Like, I'm not creative with that kind of thing, but I do know lighting, and I do know that this is 50 bucks. You can get your whole shop set up cutting outside at night. And again, it's not ideal, but if we're only allowed to cut hair outside right now, that might be the best way you can do it. So I hope it helps. So one final thing, if you're able to figure out your diffused light sheet situation in such a way that it's easy to set up again in the future, maybe you keep it in a closet somewhere, this is actually a really, really good way to light portraits. You just get some kind of a reflector, like this is just a piece of cardboard I have sitting by, maybe throw it over here to fill some shadows on the far side. And you can have really, really nice portraits with just a sheet and a spotlight. So take that to the bank. Keep that in mind.